Hey Mr. Shulkin, it's Liz and Emily. So for our final project, we decided to make brownies, and we will focus on the main ingredient, cacao. Let me just say, it didn't come out great, but we tried and that's what matters.
Alright, the first thing we did was preheat the oven at 325. Next, we're gonna wash our hands and make sure we clean them with soap. You know, COVID.
Now we need to take parchment paper and place it on the cooking sheet, as you see here. I now grabbed a pot and placed it on the stove. Ta-da!
We then fill the pot with about 1 to 2 inches of water, then turn on the heat and let it simmer. Around the time of the 20th century, advances in science transformed many housekeeping and cooking tasks that were heavily laborious and largely carried out by women. It was most likely thanks to the Domestic Science Network and increasing popularity of related cookbooks in magazines and cooking schools that brownies came to be known throughout the United States.
Now we grab a microwave-safe bowl and place it on the table. Grab your butter and add 10 tablespoons to.
Now grab the sugar and add 1/4 of it in the bowl. There are numerous legends surrounding the origin of brownies. The favorite myth cited in Betty Crocker's Baking Classics, the Encyclopedia of American Food and Drink, tells housewife in Maine who was making a chocolate cake but forgot to add baking soda. When her cake didn't rise properly, instead of tossing it out, she cut it and served it.
It's the guest of honor's turn, introducing Hershey cacao, about 3/4 and 2 tablespoons to be exact. It is said that Aztecs often used the cacao bean as a form of currency. In 1514 voyage to the New World, Hernando de Ovidio y Valdez, a member of Pedro Arias Davil, massive 1,500 men expedition, wrote that 4 cacao beans could buy a rabbit dinner, and that the town has a standard price for a night with a prostitute, and he bought a slave for 100 cacao beans.
Oh, we forgot the salt, so here's the salt.
Going back to the Aztecs, the god Quetzalcoatl was said to bring the plant to earth from heaven. He considered banishment from the garden too harsh of a punishment to Eden and the men, so he gifted them the cacao plant to create chocolate. The cacao is considered the iconic symbol of Mesoamerica. The main growth is said to be in West Africa. Carl Lingus named it Theobroma cacao, meaning food of the gods, due to the legend. Cacao trees grow in a limited geographical zone about 20 degrees to the north and south of the equator. Nearly 7 degrees of the world crop today is grown in West Africa. It is reported that since the cacao plant was brought by the gods, royalty was interested in the consumption of it. The Aztec king was said to drink a cacao beverage from the golden goblets that were only holy enough for the chocolate to be drunk. He drank about 25 glasses per day. The cacao drink was considered the drink of the elite. The price of the cacao, quote-unquote chocolate, was considered to be a luxury.
Alright, now that the water is boiling, it's time to take our bowl mixture and carefully drop it in. Dropping the mixture into the hot water will allow the mixture to melt and blend well together.
Here's the part where Emily and I struggled the most. We had to take out the hot mixture from the water to cool faster. Instead, we got impatient, so we threw it in the fridge. Ta-da!
We still had some more stuff to add, so we threw in some vanilla extract for a bit more flavor, then the rest of the batter and whipped it with some eggs and flour.
Now we give it a good mix. And we didn't like what we were seeing, so we decided to throw in more flour, cacao, sugar, and vanilla extract. So the consistency was thick and nice at the end of it. So here's me, de-stressing and trying to whisk this correctly. Didn't really work out. But you know, we're still whisking here. Still whisking. Still whisking. Yes.
Us adding more random
This is us
stuff
adding it
because
now.
doesn't taste good.
You know, just keep adding as if it's gonna get better. It really didn't, but you know, trust the process, right? Trust in the process, you know? Whisk, 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 whisk. Yes, Mr. Shulkin, I'm so sorry. But whisk, 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 whisk. So you see, here's where it starts getting thick and nice.
Okay, bye.
So finally, we spread it into our sheet pan and tap it on the table to take out the air bubbles and make it look pretty, because you know it's not going to taste good, but we can at least make it look pretty. It's the thought that counts. Thank you. And now we're gonna trust the process by throwing it in the oven in the 325 degrees and see how this actually turns out. So yeah.
25 minutes later, we check on it by stabbing it with a fork. No batter went on the fork, which means it's done, finally.
Alright, now here's Emily with protection on her hands, taking out the brownies and putting them on top of the stove. Yay, they're done. And here's me pulling back the funnel thingy to see. After all that work, this is what we were expecting. You see that? Nice. Really pretty. Here's what we got. So I decided to decorate it. It says English 102, and I love English, you know, to make it look better, a little decor. Thank you. Adios. So here's us. Well, me at the end of the project. Bye, Shulkin. You're welcome.